Welcome to the Smart Influencer podcast. If you're tired of chasing algorithms, second guessing your strategy, or feeling like you're doing all the things without seeing the growth you want, you're in the right place.
We're your hosts. I'm Christina.
And I'm Corinne.
And we're bloggers, business owners, systems nerds, and founders of the Smart Influencer. Between the two of us, we've built multiple six-figure brands, launched digital products, hosted live events, and coached creators who are ready to level up.
Each week, we break down what's actually working in today's creator economy, from monetization and list growth to systems, automation, and building a business that doesn't own you. Because this isn't about hustling harder.
It's about building smarter. Let's get into it. So today we're chatting with our friend Adam Sobel from Cinnamon Snail about his unique approach to customized marketing. Now, I know you guys have heard him before, and he's always got some great and clever ideas. So we are so excited to be chatting with you again today, Adam. Welcome.
I'm super psyched to be back here with you goony folks.
You are one of my favorites.
I know. We know we're going to be laughing.
We'll try to keep it light and goofy as personalized marketing can get.
Well, I am so excited for this because you are such an outside the box thinker. I know you've got great ideas. Poor Adam was trying to tease it a little beforehand, and I was like, no, you've got to save all the good stuff for the actual interview. So
yeah, I'm so excited about this stuff, and I'll try to talk to my wife about it, and she'll fall asleep. It's so dorky. And you guys are the only ones who can get down with my level of dorkiness about this. So I appreciate you.
We will always get dorky. We love that kind of stuff. But yeah, Corinne's insisting we go in cold. So we don't even know what he's going to talk about. So this is
no idea.
That makes three of us.
We just know we'll have pages of notes afterwards.
Yes, I'm getting my notebook ready, in fact. Yes. So all right, we are ready for your brilliance.
No, we're not. We're not ready for that. First, we have to. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself so everybody knows who you are and what
all right, that's fine. Fine.
Right ahead.
I live in New Jersey with a wallaby who we rescued about 11 years ago, and 4 or 5 dogs at a given time. We do a lot of animal rescue stuff.
How do I not know about the wallaby?
Oh, he's so cool. His name's Doyle Huckabee. My wife and daughters sometimes update an Instagram for him. So it's at Doyle_Huckabee. There'll be a picture of him eating a snack on the couch with us. But I want to preface this by don't go out and adopt a wallaby. They're a nightmare to live with. He's very cute, but it's like living with a wild animal. He's never gonna be house trained or come when you call him. That being said, his poops are like rabbit poops. It's not like a dog taking a dump in your living room. Anyway, so
Doyle Hunter what?
_Huckabee. That's his Instagram.
Anyway, definitely
aside from that, in my previous life prior to the pandemic, I was a very well-recognized vegan chef. I had a very popular restaurant and food truck business. And then I had been teaching at some culinary schools, and then during the pandemic, started teaching online. And that was going really great. I was selling cooking class tickets through Eventbrite and just doing them in my home kitchen. And eventually a friend of mine was like, you should really start a blog as a good way to let people know you do these cooking classes. So luckily I had this domain from my popular food business that had oodles of backlinks from the New York Times and Food Network and all these kind of reputable things. So when I started using that same domain for my blog, I had this kind of head start on the domain authority game or whatever. And it's kind of interesting because I guess I'm coming to the world of selling products online sort of from the opposite direction that a lot of food bloggers are, which are many food bloggers obviously have been like mainly monetizing through ads forever. And just now they're thinking about like, oh, I might be able to sell a meal plan or an ebook or what have you as sort of like this afterthought. Whereas I'm kind of coming at it from the other direction where I'm selling all these products, cooking classes. I have a membership called Vegan University. And then the blog is sort of like has been created as the top of my funnel to just attract a lot of new people to that stuff that I'm selling. So the ad revenue is kind of like a nice cherry on top thing that I use mostly to pay my VAs every month. But the ad revenue is like 15% of my revenue on a good month. It's not the main action for me. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit about me and about where I'm coming to this table from.
We have a friend, Audrey. We've mentioned her a couple of times on the show that always talks about how she blogged backwards because she did the same thing as you. Like ad revenue was like the last revenue stream she added to her like revenue plan because she started with products. And it's always so interesting to me because it's a whole different way of thinking. Like digital, like when you talk to people that sell products online and then use the blog or use a website as the top of funnel,
Hmm.
like their numbers to make significant amounts of money are so much smaller, right? Like it's funny to watch a blogger and a digital marketer have a conversation because a blogger's talking about how they've got, whatever, 500,000 page views a month. And the digital marketer's like, how are you not a billionaire by now? Right? Like
Hmm.
on 2,000 page views, I'm making $10,000 a month. Like it's crazy the different way of thinking and the different approaching. So, all right, I'm not going to talk anymore because I want to get straight to all your brilliance. I
The
so much so that I
juicy
tried to skip your
stuff.
intro. Yes. So I don't even know what
Yeah.
to ask you since I wouldn't let you talk before the show.
All
What do you
right,
want to know?
Karen. So yeah, I have been, like many people in our like online publishing space, been looking to the horizons at what is occurring in the shifting landscape of search and people's use of information online and through LLMs and all that stuff. And I've been not personally super satisfied by the like the loudest voices in our space, like their perspective on like what we should all be doing to adapt to how things are changing. Like the primary thing I've been hearing on podcasts and from experts in our space is like, oh, you got to add these like add to AI buttons to your blog that'll like shoot it into ChatGPT so that like hopefully it maybe influences that one user's whatever they're using as an LLM to recommend you more often. But the first of all, the click-through rates are terrible with that. Like I think with Claude, it's like 1,000th of a% of people who see a link in a Claude output will actually end up clicking it.
Mhm.
Um, and then I also kind of worry about like what ChatGPT is going to recommend to somebody to do with my recipe. And then I'm kind of semi-liable for that. I feel like, if it tells them, oh, like put tuna fish in this vegan lasagna, it'll be
Right.
fantastic for having more protein. Like that sounds terrible. And like I don't really want to help people cook and eat any animals. So like it's against what I'm coming from.
Right.
And so I just feel like it's a lame user experience and kind of like a desperate, not that realistic feeling way to increase your traffic. It probably can't hurt, I guess, but it's to me, it's not the solution to like restore any traffic that's lost to AI overviews, et cetera, et cetera. And what I've been really kind of obsessed with for like the past couple years is really personalizing people's experiences. And the easiest domain to think about that in is by email, right? People are already maybe semi-accustomed to somewhat personalizing email, like at the very least adding the person's first name if you're collecting that and stuff like that. Or if you're doing some segmentation, that's a very important thing as far as email is concerned, right? Like if you have, for instance, readers who half of them are gluten-free and half of them aren't gluten-free, if you're just giving everybody everything, it's not the not gluten-free people don't want to see your gluten-free pancake recipe, and the gluten-free people don't want to see your, seitan recipe or whatever. And so, as far as serving those readers and encouraging them to not only stay on your list longer, but be more, interacting with your emails and clicking back onto your blog or potentially purchasing things from you, it doesn't make sense to treat them all identically. So, like, the most basic level is just doing some, like, really basic segmentation. Maybe your gluten-free emails go out on Fridays and your not gluten-free ones go out on Mondays. And you, like, figure out who your people are and give them what is best for them. But there's a lot deeper down the rabbit hole you can go with that. And that's kind of what I've spent the better part of the last year really building out. And it's not just in email; it can really be on your site as well. There's some tools that really let you show different users different things on your actual website when they click back to your website. So yeah,
Okay, pause
stop
there.
me now because it's going to get crazy. We're going to
Yeah,
go
so
deep with this.
let's talk about what you just said.
Yeah.
So if I understand correctly,
Hmm.
so is it on the actual same page? Like if someone comes to their homepage, if Christina and I have interacted with you differently, does
Hmm.
Christina get a different homepage than I do?
Yeah, if you build it out like that, yes. And it doesn't affect negatively SEO. Like those different versions aren't crawlable by, Google bots or anything because it's like kind of the same as having something that's behind a paywall.
Right.
Like basically you're tracking an email subscriber, and due to either tags or custom field values you've given those people, you're going to show them different things. So
The
it does.
tags are communicating in the opposite direction typically,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Like, so
yeah.
we
It,
usually like bring them from a purchase or from something else, and then they get tagged so that we can segment them inside our email. You're
mhm.
taking the tags that you have assigned them in email and bringing it back to your site.
Yeah.
Understanding
And
that?
and think of the cool ways you could use that. Like very basic, simple way is like how you guys probably experience this. I know I do because I have a lot of older readers who like sometimes get confused and stuff. And I have different lead magnets for every different
Yeah.
category on my website, right? Right. And like, if you're looking at a vegan Jewish recipe, it's going to have my top 5 vegan Jewish
Right.
recipe, lead magnet. If you're looking at a Turkish recipe, it's going to be my Turkish stuff. And then, in those lead magnets, it'll be like a 5-day sequence that pitches them my thing that I have for sale that's relevant to that, a discounted recording of my Turkish cooking class,
Right.
etc. Right now, what I have all the time is people who join my email list and then they go back to my website and then like they join another lead magnet and
Right.
another lead magnet and then they like hit you up with a question and you look in their emails and they're getting like 18 emails from you a day. And you're like, oh my God, lady, can I help you not be bombarded to death by my emails? It's like so a nightmare. So the very small, like low-hanging fruit of that is like, how silly is it if somebody's already a subscriber for you to be like encouraging them every day to join your email list on your website? Like,
Right.
why not show them, the
Yeah.
next step in your relationship together, which is maybe your low ticket offer? Instead of showing them next time they go to like a Turkish recipe, your lead magnet, why not be like, hey, here's my Turkish ebook, and for subscribers, I'm like doing it for 50% off, like just
Right.
or something that's more relevant to like where they're at in their personal
Yeah.
journey with
Like a
you, right?
customized journey.
Totally. And you can
Well,
get like, I mean, this is what Amazon and Netflix do. You know, when you go log into Netflix, like Christina's Netflix looks, I mean, it super looks different from mine because I don't pay for Netflix. But if I were to, mine would be full of like the most degenerate stuff on earth because I like weird movies, you know? Christina probably it's gonna be like nothing but the Care Bears or some like some other kind
Watching
of thing,
Emily in
right?
Paris.
It's a for you page,
Yeah.
right? It's not a home page. And so that's kind of like the next thing I'm working on building out is rather than subscribers seeing a semi-static homepage that has my latest recipes and my the most popular recipes, etc. If I know that subscriber is a gluten-free cook who's new to vegan cooking, I'm going to show them easy wins for that kind of person. I'm not going to show them stuff on the homepage that's not gluten-free, first of all. I'm not going to show them stuff that's, requires like serious culinary skill to pull off. I'm going to show them like the recipes that I know are like best for somebody just like them
Well, it's
and the
brilliant
offers
because
for somebody like
engagement's
them.
got to be through the roof because you're only showing them stuff that they're genuinely interested in. Okay, I'm going
Right.
to pause you
Yeah.
again
Hmm.
because super cool idea. I don't think you have to at this point persuade anyone else about why it's brilliant. Mechanically, how do you
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
Okay, now this is where like the record's gonna scratch, and like some people are gonna be like, "Nope, not gonna do that." Um,
I've still got my pen out. Let me hear
but
it.
let me tell you, no regrets in this
Okay.
whatsoever. Like, I wholeheartedly think this is the future of
I'm
the
already building
internet,
this in my head. So
and so the main piece of the puzzle is a software called Write Message, made by this brilliant freaking guy named Brennan Dunn, who for a long time has been like kind of a expert marketer genius guy. I know like once upon a time he had done some courses for ConvertKit, like teaching you really like the nitty grittiest, deepest level of how to use their liquid code for personalization. But he's built out this software that is like a dream come true for personalization. And I love it. It's probably the most powerful piece of SaaS software that I use. It allows you, first of all, to create like very adaptive kinds of quizzes for figuring out your segments, where if somebody answers question one way, you might show them a different second question than the person who answers it the other way. That's the boring side of it. What's really cool is what it allows you to do in terms of personalization in email and on the site, where you can, without having to have multiple different URLs, for showing different versions of a page, you can say, hey, if like this person is in this segment, show them this different headline, show them this different testimonial. So the first place I've gone and implemented that on my site is on sales pages, because that's what like moves the needle for me most. If somebody goes to my sales page from an email for some class that's relevant to the topic of the email that they're looking at, right? If I know they're a more advanced cook, I'm going to show them a testimonial from a more advanced cook that like really speaks to their language, speaks to their issues. My most advanced cooks, their pain points are around like looking for more exciting food, right? Stuff that like shows them new ingredients, shows them new techniques. My more beginner people tend to have very different pain points around like not wanting to have to get all kinds of crazy ingredients they've never heard of, or wanting to have recipes that take less time or has fewer steps or whatever. So, I'll have like 4 or 5 different elements of the sales page personalized for different parts of that profile. I have about like 4 or 5 different things I now track for each person. Basically what their primary pain point is, what is the primary like benefit they're looking for, what kind of cook do they consider themselves, whether or not they're gluten-free. And I'll show a very personalized different elements of the sales page. Some of the sub headlines will maybe speak more to the benefits I know that person is looking for. Some of the testimonial might speak more to the pain points or the what kind of personality I know they have. And so because of that, the conversion rate is like wildly different. You're like
I was going to ask
showing,
you because I know you tested it. Like I know you
yeah.
at it for a little bit. Like, do you know off the top of your? I know you do. Actually, I know
I
you've got a
I
grasp.
actually don't yet have solid
Okay.
data on like the different part of the problem for me is that I have so many different products. Like
Right.
I have the primary product that everything kind of flows into is my membership. And
Mm.
everything anybody purchases from me has an upsell to a, free trial of my membership
Mhm.
because that's like where the recurring revenue is. But every month I teach a new class, and some people purchase that as a live class. Some people purchase that later on as a recording that's included in a bundle, connected to the primary theme of that class. So I have a zillion freaking products. So to test like the difference in the conversion rate means like looking at that data across a lot of different landing pages and stuff.
Right.
What I can tell you is that my regular, like organic sales that are not happening from paid ads have increased a lot, not just because of the personalization on the sales pages, but also because of the personalization of the offers that people receive in their email.
Right.
Right.
And that's what's like the brain of the whole thing. You know, with I you guys are Flowdesk people, right? Or
No,
what are you?
I'm with
Mailer.
I'm
Kit.
Yeah,
She's
I'm
with
Mailer
Kit.
Lite.
Yeah, I'm a Kit user too. And actually the basis for this whole like obsession with personalization started really like about a year ago when remember like Kit was raising their prices like about a year
Yeah.
ago. And it wasn't a huge increase. It was maybe like a 10% increase, but it's already like not the cheapest
Right.
subscription to have, right? And at the time, I was really, or so I thought, using like Kit to the maximum, like really deep into using liquid code to show different things to different people in each email.
Yeah.
Um, and so what started me like getting psyched about this idea was I was like, man, if they're going to be charging me more money, I should look around and see what else is out there. Because maybe if I'm going to be paying more money, there's some more powerful thing to use instead of Kit. And there certainly are. Like Klaviyo, it blows Kit out of the water any day of the week.
Right.
It's like
It's
double
also
the price.
expensive though.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
crazy expensive. So I'd done some like demo with Klaviyo and was talking to the people there. And as we were discussing stuff, they were like looking at what I had built out in Kit already, which is like I got a zillion automations. I have abandoned cart sequences and automations for every product. I have, testimonial automations where somebody's taking a class, like 2 hours later, they get a thing asking for the testimonial and stuff like that. And to rebuild everything in a new thing would have, it'd be like comparable to building a new website in the cost of it. I might be looking at 10 grand to then be like in this new system where I have to learn all the new stuff.
Right.
And so I started being like, man, I love some of these features. Like there's really cool features that Klaviyo lets you do. Like for instance, sending a personalized email to somebody who's maybe looked at a sales page more than a certain number of times in a certain time frame.
Mhm.
Somebody's gone back to your membership page 3 times in a week and didn't sign up. Like, why not send that person a personalized, hey, like book a time for a call with me. I'd be happy to like show you behind the scenes thing, right? So I was like, man, I gotta figure out how to like maybe I can build this stuff in Kit, maybe using some third-party other tools. And that's kind of what has led me down this path. And
I'm
there
going to pause
now,
you again,
yeah, go for it. Go
back
ahead.
up one step
You can tell
because
I'm like too excited about this
no, I
stuff.
love it. I love
Yeah.
it. It's why you're one of our favorite people to talk
Yeah.
to. Like I love
Yeah.
when people love what they do and
And
then
the
are constantly
innovation.
Yeah, and the innovation. But I wanted to pause because you said something that I don't know if all the kit users know, and it is a like if you aren't ready to go tackle right message and want to do all of this, the like because you throw out the liquid code, and I think that scares some people, but it really is just like two lines that you can add in an email that you can make a conditional block. Essentially, that's what it is.
So
It's just a
important.
conditional block.
So important.
So if you search Kit's help for conditional blocks and emails, you'll find it. It's like two simple lines, three if you want to have like two options, like
Hmm.
a couple other things. But you just drop them in before whatever text you're protecting. Super duper easy. And to me is one
And
of the key advantages of
yeah,
Kit.
Mailer
so
Lite
for a
has that too.
while,
They have conditional
yeah,
blocks.
yeah. I think
Yeah.
most of the like legit email things have some kind of conditional
Right.
logic. And for anyone who's not messed with that, a really cool basic way you could implement that if you have something for sale is just create like a snippet, like a reusable block in your email that you can use in your like PS area of the email that says, hey, like if somebody doesn't have the tag that they bought my ebook, show them the thing that's like, hey, I've got an ebook for sale.
Mhm.
And if they have that, show them like the next offer or show them, hey, you could like leave a review for me or you could do whatever is the other call to action you'd like them to do.
Right.
Um, I have a zillion, and that's what really prompted me to the next cool thing, which is that I hired a brilliant dude to help me build out like the ultimate PS snippet for my because I had like a basic thing using Liquid that stuff where it was like, hey, if they didn't sign up for my free thing, that's a free class that's basically a webinar for my membership, but it teaches them how to make XYZ. Show them this. If they've taken that, show them this. If they've taken that, show them this. And it would go through like all my products. But the problem was with Liquid Code is say somebody gets to the third step of that and they're not interested in your burger class or your Thanksgiving ebook or whatever, then they're stuck seeing that forever, right? Like there's no like shifting it to the other
Mm.
best option, right? So there's this guy named Brad Hussey who's like he's one of the OG users of Kit. I think he's like user 400 or something, like personally invited to the platform by the guy who created ConvertKit. And dude, this guy is so smart. Like I've got to say I have so much admiration for the like clarity at which him and that guy Brennan Dunn who made Right Message think about all this stuff because I'm, as you can tell, a little chaotic and a little like I have some like ADHD or some kind of nonsense. Dude, this guy's so wise and he built this thing. He does this for people. Like this is his service. He builds these things, what he calls creator engines. And it's basically like a brain that shows people in email like the next offer that makes sense for them. So I want to talk you through the one he built with me
Yeah.
for my thing. And it's brilliant. Like it's such a like power tool to have baked into your email. Um, Mine works like this. I have like four primary customer avatars, right? Mine are just to tell you mine, like mine are kind of more advanced vegan cooks who are like looking for exciting new things. I have like a lot of kind of family cooks who like their main thing is like struggling to share vegan food with their closed-minded relatives and stuff like that. I have people
I
who are
feel
brand
personally attacked.
yeah. I have people who are like totally new to vegan cooking and then I have like super busy vegan professionals, like people who like they need to meal prep their stuff. They need to like be as efficient and with their time as possible. They're thinking about like stuff they can pack for work and all that, right? So when I show any offer in email, like if I know the information about that specific person who's seeing that email, they're served the applicable testimonial and call to action and headline for that product, right? Like if the next offer somebody needs to see is whatever, my Italian desserts class, because they already bought my Italian dinners class, and the nature of the email is Italian food, they're going to be shown, the new person like, hey, this like Italian dessert class makes it like totally approachable to pull off tiramisu. And they're going to see a testimonial that kind of supports that approachableness of it to them, right? But not only are all those details being customized for the person, but what they're shown is very much customized to them. So there's like a couple different layers of logic in my creator engine that this guy Brad helped me build out. One is like it's going to generally show somebody an offer that's relevant to the topic of the email, right? So if I'm sharing a roundup of salsa recipes, it's going to by default show options of Mexican products I have for sale. My taco making class, my torta making class, whatever, right? If somebody's bought those things, it's going to go to like the next thing that they haven't bought that makes sense for them. So again, if they're gluten-free, it's not going to show them my bread making class. It's going to show them gluten-free desserts or whatever, right? Now, the thing that trumps that logic are seasonal offerings, right? So it's only going to show my Passover class like the week leading up to Passover, or my Easter class, right? It's only going to show my Halloween class 2 weeks out of the year. But if somebody's bought that class, it's not going to show that. It's going to show the next thing down the line, right? The other thing it's going to show people is if they've kind of like raised their hand through their user behavior and they're like keeping on going back to the sales page for this certain thing, it's going to show that as the offer in that email, right? And this has really increased the natural purchasing of stuff. And, classes that I wasn't really seeing getting purchased that often, I now see much more regularly just because it's like showing people the thing that makes sense for them. It's really, really, really like it's such a next level thing.
Okay, question again. I am literally trying to build this in.
Yeah,
No,
I know
I'm doing the same thing. My brain is spinning.
It's crazy.
So when you're saying like they visited the website like multiple times, or your sales page, is that being tracked from a click inside kit, or is there something
being
in
tracked
Message
through
that
Message?
Okay.
And you can set up really cool stuff with that. Like sort of in the next phase of what I'm planning to build out, one of the things I want to do is like, hey, that offer should also be informed by the primary category in Yoast of what type of content they're looking at a lot on my site. Like if, despite whether or not they ever go to a sales page, if they keep on looking at Mexican recipes on my site, it makes sense for me to offer them a Mexican cooking class or ebook in their email, right? Like I know that about them, that they're interested in that. Whether they're telling me through a survey or not, I can see it through their user behavior. And all of that it's automated. Once you build it and set it up, it's just like constantly showing people. I mean, dorky as it is, like that's why right message is called right message. It's showing them the right message for where they're at in their relationship with you
now.
Right now. Let's do it. I know it's crazy.
SMS and social media. Are you doing are you using this in conjunction with that? Because I gotta assume it works with both.
Yeah, so you can totally do retargeting campaigns if you run meta ads where, if somebody's gone to your whatever class, they get some special offer, if you're doing that paid marketing stuff. You could, if you use SMS, same thing as email. You could send them some personalized offer. I think with SMS, it's very effective, but you have to be like a little bit more careful to not be spammy about it. And the nice thing about this creator engine thing is it's allowed me to put relevant offers for people in otherwise what you would consider like nurture type emails, right? Like I have all these emails, like I have all these different nurture sequences now that go out on certain days of the week, depending on what people's preferences are. And it's all value. It's like, here's 5 free whatever recipes, free recipes, and I'm getting the revenue from the ads shown to that person. But at the bottom, it's like giving that person an opportunity to go a little further with you. And like, it's not salesy. It's not like first and foremost, buy my thing. It's like, first and foremost, here's those like free recipes, love them up. Oh, you're like interested in that? Like, here's the class that makes sense for you.
Can I hit
It's
Let
like
me
a
ask
much
that. So
gentler
in a
method.
nurture sequence that's already established, so they come
Hmm.
in at some entry point and then they're going through, if during the journey they buy in the subsequent email, I can
Hmm.
speak, subsequent emails, they're going to then, the offer will change, right? Like it will,
Totally. Yeah, it's like a living thing. And that's the
that's awesome.
whole point. Like, it's not going to keep on offering the thing they've already bought or showing them that it's not just for sales. Like, you can do it for actions. Like, for instance, I have a block that if somebody joins my list and doesn't fill out those survey questions, that lets me not only market to them better, but show them stuff that's more relevant for them. I'm going to keep showing them in emails a block that's like, hey, like, let me show you stuff that's more relevant to you. Like, take a second to answer these like couple questions. And like, after they do that, I don't keep showing that to them. Like, it's not just for stuff you're selling. It could be for, like, I have a volunteer list of people who do recipe testing for my recipes. It's like, now I have about 1,000 people who are on that list who every week when my drafts are ready, I send them those recipes, and like, I don't publish those recipes until a week later after I get feedback from all of my testers. So I have a block like that. If somebody hasn't yet joined my recipe testers list, I'll totally pitch that to them. And once they have, I'm not going to keep on being like, hey, keep joining my recipe testers list, guys.
Can I
Right.
hit pause for a second?
Totally.
Because
Yeah.
I'm wondering if some of our listeners, we are super excited. This is just blowing my mind. But you may be getting a little overwhelmed because this is
It's
very,
crazy.
I think it's very techy. Um, you might be looking at the software going, might not be for me right now. But I think the underlying message here that you have to take away from this conversation is that we need to be personalizing people's journeys. And you can
I
do that
I
in the
feel
most
like that's
basic of
the
software.
future.
Yeah,
Yeah.
by setting things up correctly, you can do this. You can do some basic customization and really tailoring that journey for your reader, your subscriber, very simply. And it could be something like, if you had beginner, intermediate, and advanced cooks,
Right.
you're tailoring the message in the emails, but then you can always be sending them to a customized homepage, I say with air quotes,
Mhm.
that's just full of beginner recipes or intermediate
Yeah.
recipes. It
Right.
doesn't
And
have, you don't have to use a fancy software. I'm always big on the duct tape and bubble gum system.
Right.
But if you're not ready to
Christina,
take the leap, don't be like, this
it's
doesn't apply to me. It applies to
you
you. It
don't
applies to
need to
all of
like
us.
you don't need to jump in the deep end and
Yeah.
get on
So,
this right message thing or any of this stuff. Like, at the very least, if you use ConvertKit's landing pages or their embeddable forms, right?
mhm.
You can set up like custom questions that they're
Yeah.
asked right at that point. It will slightly lower your conversion rate doing it before they give you their email than afterwards. But you could be like, hey, like, click here if you're like only interested in gluten-free stuff. Click here
Yeah.
if you're like only interested in whatever is your like segmentation. And you can do it that way, and you can do it with, if somebody clicks that thing, you give them this tag. I think the one techie consideration about that I'd want to mention for your listeners is that tags are kind of an imperfect way of tracking
Right.
segmentation stuff, in that potentially, if you leave the door open for them to join another lead magnet form, say, right? What if they select the other option? What if on option, landing page one, they said they were gluten free, and on landing page two, they said they weren't gluten free, right? Then you have two tags that person has, and you kind of don't know what to show them. And that's why I've gravitated away from tags for segmentation
Right.
purposes. Like, I use tags galore for like pushing people into different automations or whatever, but you can create custom fields in Kit, and that way, if they said they were gluten free once upon a time, and now they tell you I'm no longer gluten free, it basically overwrites the value in that field, and they can only be one of the things,
Ah,
right?
gotcha. That's smart.
They can't be both, right?
Right. So if
But
you
yeah,
choose not
you can
gluten-free, it's
do that
almost like,
for free. Like you don't need to
yeah,
pay for some new SaaS to do that. If
right.
you're looking to start like showing them different content on the website,
Yes.
then you do
Right.
need some other tools, right? Or if
Yeah.
you're looking to um A/B test the questions you're asking them on the opt-in or whatever, you need some other tools. But
I guess
as far as it being overwhelming and crazy techy, dude, hire that guy Brad. Like I'm telling you, like best money I ever spent.
Yeah.
He's brilliant, and chances are most of your listeners will have a considerably less chaotic, complicated array of offerings, right? Like most people like who have a blog, maybe you've got a couple of ebooks, maybe you have some kind of subscription like a membership or a meal plan thing, right? And like so you might have three offers, and for Brad to build something like that out for people, it's not overwhelmingly pricey, and he will like figure it out with you to make it perfect and like well branded for your thing. And he'll like he's a developer. He's like a genius guy, and he'll like completely build this thing for you. And it's such a great investment if you are primarily selling stuff as your
Yeah.
monetization, you know?
And I think a lot of us are headed in, if we're not already down that path, we're headed in that direction because we realize we can't rely solely on ad income. But I just didn't want
Mhm.
people to self-select out of the conversation at this point going, whoa, this is way over my head, because I don't think it is. I think this is something everybody needs to be considering now to really set yourself apart, especially with the onslaught of AI. I mean, now getting into
100%.
personalization and really tailoring that message and what we're offering people and showing that we are listening to them and they are seen and heard, I think is so valuable.
Well, and I just think
100%.
the engagement
Yeah.
factor, right? Like it's like I don't know, even looking at right message. So like if you like I think even if you didn't have products to sell, I can almost justify like the because it's not super expensive for the low tiered monthly plan. Like for that, if I was getting significantly better engagement on my website, because if I sent you to a for you page or you saw something so it was only serving you the content you wanted, like instantly I'm making more money just on the ads, which again, like I'm trying to get
Mhm.
away from that being my primary. But you can, like if that's your monetization method right now depending on your traffic levels and your list size, like I think that's significant. And I'm assuming the nice thing about this too, Adam, is it's not list dependent, is it? Like, because right message, if it's tracking your website data, if someone comes back to visit, it's showing whether or not they've joined your list. Is it showing them a personalized?
No, like that surveying. So Right Message considers like your whatever tagging system or custom fields in your email. Like that's kind of like the single source of truth of like
Okay.
what you know about each
So you
person. Like
do
that's
have to have that
you
component.
do have to. I mean, everybody should be doing email
Well,
marketing.
you
A
know,
hundred
we're big
percent.
fans of that for sure.
I know you guys know,
Yeah.
but if anyone out there is listening and like all you guys do is what's that thing called when like
RSS.
yeah, stop. Just I mean do that if you need to do that, but you need to like level it up. I really think that email marketing has become almost more primary as what I do for a living than publishing stuff on my
Same.
blog is. I
Mhm.
mean, like I make recipes every week, they go on my blog, and that's cool. But that's not what moves the needle towards putting my kids through school or
Right.
anything like that. Like
I agree.
that's nice. It's like I say, it's the top of my funnel. It's how
Yeah.
page views get turned into like some percentage of those people opt in and et cetera and can go further with me. But the value of somebody who comes to my website maybe a few times a year from Google searches versus somebody who's joined my email list, like it's no comparison at all. It's no comparison.
Right.
So if you're not on email and you're not using it effectively or at
Do
all,
it.
you need to be
Do
doing
it.
that now. That is step one. Step two is go back and listen to this, but put on a different lens if you're not advanced. Put yourself in the lens that I can take the concepts and apply it to my business. Maybe not the exact tools or the way he's doing it, but the underlying concepts I think are so valuable here.
Okay, I do want to, now
But
that
let's
we,
go back into the tools.
Yeah.
I do want to go back to the tools
Okay, okay.
because I saw when you were filling in the information for the interview that you had listed Senja, which I only just recently
Mhm.
heard about. My business coach was talking to me about I need to collect testimonials, and I'm
Yep,
like,
yep.
tell me how to automate that because I'm bad at asking for it. And so it was one of the tools that she had recommended. And I saw that you use it. So can
Yeah,
you
yeah.
talk about
So
that?
for years, I was like very manual about testimonials, which basically translated to that, like I never used them except for like the most high ticket things I would do, or like the things that I really wanted people to opt in for or whatever. I would like purposefully like get, have people email me a testimonial, and then I'd go into Canva and jazz it up and turn it into a PNG and like slap it onto the sales page. And it's like so tedious and like not something I had an SOP for that I could just like hand off to a VA or something. And, I'm like particular about the way things look and stuff like
Right.
that. So, anyway, Senja lets you automate that process of people leaving testimonials. You can provide an incentive, like, hey, you get a free, I'll email you a free cooking class or whatever if you fill this out. Then you can have it automatically like collect the best testimonials and put them into some kind of HTML widget that you can have plugged into your sales page. Again, because I have a zillion different products for sale, it's not entirely like a fully automated thing because, every sales page I've now had to have my VA go in and like plug in the right, widget and etc. But as now those are plugged in, anytime somebody takes my Seitan class and leaves a 5-star review, like that review ends up being shown amongst the reviews. So yeah, I'm using it for that and for the testimonials that I show in my like creator engine thing in my emails. What's nice about Senja is it lets people do video testimonials, which unfortunately they don't do that much. But it's nice when people do like pull out their cell phone and just record like a casual video of them talking about how much they loved you or whatever. That's like such a compelling thing for potential purchasers to see. But yeah, it's a nice tool. It's if you need to have a zillion products, as I do, you have to be on their like top plan to have a zillion different forms.
Mhm.
And it's just another freaking
Right.
cost. And like I'm so not thrilled with the number of different subscriptions I now
I
have.
know.
I
I
mean,
hear you.
it has allowed me to do crazy cool things and sell a lot more stuff. But it's like, man, I'm like probably at more than $10,000 a year of software subscriptions now?
Wow.
And more and more as like vibe codey stuff comes out. Like, I don't know if you guys have looked at Base 44 or Lovable or any of these things.
Yeah.
But like more and more, I'm thinking about like, oh, I could like build a replacement for key search and that. Oh, I could like build a replacement for this and that. And then like you have one subscription and you're kind of using credits for it. And
Right.
more and more, I'm like thinking about where I can replace various SaaS subscriptions with that because it's just everybody wants you to be on the higher plan, or like if you have more subscribers or more users, you're paying more. And it's just getting kind of ridiculous, I think.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
true.
That's why it's on the monthly CEO day. That is one of my things is to go through like, am I actively using? Plus, I tend to
Mhm.
like sign up for stuff and then like I don't really end up using it. So if I don't check that monthly, like I'll
Yeah.
end up carrying thing for 6 months,
Hmm.
a tool that I'm barely using or not using at
Yeah.
all. So
Yeah.
yeah, but it stacks up because we need so much tech and so much software to do what we do.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I do think though that this is like one of the potential upsides to AI, which is like the ability to do agentic AI and build
Yeah.
your own tools that replace certain parts of your workflow.
Yeah.
And that's very custom to everybody's workflow. Like
Right.
everybody has different stuff. Um, I kind of I think like most people a little bit struggle with this stuff though, because I don't really love the other facets of what AI is doing to society in general and like to the environment and to culture and
Hmm.
politics and all these other things that are wrapped up with that discussion. So if the AI comes and goes, I'm not particularly mad about it. I think the world will be a better place if we all go back to reading books and stuff personally. So,
We all go back to the 80s. The world would be a
yes,
much better,
I'm already there, honey.
except for
You
the
saw
medical
my
part. We want to
outfit.
keep
I
medical
know
where
the
it's at.
outfit is,
I,
yeah, you're crushing
for
it. For
those of you listening, I basically look like a roller skating rink or something, like the floor from your favorite childhood roller skating rink. That's
it is,
basically
that
what
is
I look
exactly
like.
what that is.
Yes, it is. The big pink dot. I see it.
Yeah,
And the
that
green one.
carpet before you get hit
Yep.
the
Yep,
rink.
that
Yeah.
carpet's
Before
what's
you end
up.
up biting it and kissing the carpet.
Yes. Um,
I've wiped that from my memory.
you've got to bring that back into your current events. I'm telling you, going out for adult night, skate
Yeah.
night where you can boogie down is
Oh, I
like
got
kind of
roller skates for
critical.
Christmas. I roller skate all around like
Oh,
I
good,
roller
good,
skate in the
good.
basement. I roller skate around the pool. Like, oh yeah, I'm all about the roller skate life.
Me too. Me too.
Oh, that's funny.
So for
Okay, Adam, like I think we've got a lot. Is there
yeah.
All right.
anything else we haven't covered that you really want to make
I
sure our
don't
listeners
know when this podcast is getting,
know? We can
heard
share.
by other human beings. It may be after the upcoming summit. Um, I'm really excited that I'm sharing stuff at the summit. And I'm
Too.
serious that the stuff we talked about today is like the tip of the iceberg of what we're going to talk about at the
Mhm.
summit. There's some crazy stuff that's like once you have this basic functionality built out, allows you to do like serious magic. I can't tell you much more about it. If this comes out before the summit, you should get your ticket and go attend the summit. If the summit has already happened, maybe these ladies are selling recordings of it. I
We
don't
are
know.
selling a virtual ticket, and then we'll probably have the recordings up because in preparation for this summit, we have recorded ahead. This will not be
Yeah.
live until probably a month after the
All right,
summit
all right.
has
I was
That's all
going to
occurred.
good. That's
say,
all good.
get your ticket for the
That's
2027
right.
summit,
I'm telling you.
because if you take what Adam is talking about and you pair it up with what Katie is talking about,
Oh
and
yeah.
you pair it up with what Ty's like, this is just all part of a chain, and you can
Yeah.
build, like, you can set yourself up for such success. It's all about working smarter and using what we already have and making the most of it. And that's where my brain went as you're talking. I'm like, oh my goodness, I need to go back and listen to this podcast episode and this one. And I think all these puzzle pieces are now fitting together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you,
And
Adam.
aside from what it means for us on the creator end of things, the other thing that's kind of like cool to think about is where this leads the state of the internet and information technology in a couple years from now for the readers and from the user perspective.
Mhm.
Like that's what makes this kind of thinking around what you share with people such a viable competitor to what people
I
get with an
agree.
LLM. Like if you're showing people what's like really perfect for them instead of just like hoping they find what's good for them, it's a very tailored, like perfect experience for them that's even better than what they get from an LLM because you know what you're talking about. Like
I
somebody was asking in that Food Blogger Central like a week ago, they were having some issue with ChatGPT. And I was like, dude, ChatGPT doesn't know what it's saying. It's
Right.
not like conscious. It's just like is trained to show you the next most likely word or letter in a sentence?
Mhm.
And like I think ultimately, as powerful as AI can be, people would so much rather learn from somebody who's like made the 7-layer dip for every Super Bowl for
Yep.
the last 20 years and knows what actually makes it good or what makes it soggy and sucky. And 100%, like if you can show that to people in a way that's applicable to their exact situation, where you're telling the no oil person like how to make that very thing without oil, and you know that it works, and you're showing the person who like needs to make it faster that like, hey, you don't have to make your own like vegan cream cheese for it. You can use this like store-bought one to make it faster or whatever. Like you have the personal insight to
Yeah.
give people some really much more helpful experience on the internet than just like they've got to find the one recipe that's out there for the oil-free 7-layer dip and it kind of sucks or whatever, you know? I think it's really an exciting time to think about the kind of future state of all this blogging stuff that we can start crafting now. It's a hell of a good time.
I
Well,
love
and
hearing
what
that approach as opposed to the gloom and doom that you hear everywhere. I mean,
yes.
it's an
No, I don't have
it is
time for
an
that gloom and doom. Like
it's
that's
an exciting time to see where what direction it's going to take us in and just being ready to pivot. I mean,
yeah, I mean it's up to us and our
yeah.
creativity and our like desire to actually meaningfully connect with people and help them to make the future what we
Yeah.
want it to be. You know,
And
like it's in our hands. We can do almost anything right now. It's super cool.
it's
I
taking
love
ideas like what you're talking about today and saying, yes, and, and then
yes.
adding what you can do or what your idea on top of that. And that layering, I think, that's what fuels innovation and what keeps us churning. And that's what gets me excited is
Yeah.
looking at something that you're doing and saying, yes, I can do that. And I can do this, this
Yeah,
too.
because
Well,
everybody's
yeah.
offering different stuff,
Yeah.
has different areas of expertise, likes to connect with people in different ways. And like it's up to you to harness that in the way that makes sense, not
Yeah.
just for what you want to offer, but like where you want to be at in life as a like maybe you don't want to be running a membership that makes you have to like log in for an office hours call once a
Yeah.
week. Maybe you want to like do it like this. You want to have a done for you service or
Yeah.
like a consulting type of
Mhm.
offering you offer,
Right.
whatever. Like you can really dream up like your ideal work situation
Yeah.
and then like craft the offering to support that. I think it's a super exciting time.
You just have to make sure you're putting yourself in the room with the right people, like who are
Yeah.
thinking like that and who are in that frame of mind. Sorry, Corinne, you
Yeah, I
wanted
mean
to say
that's why like as much as I respect some of the people in our space, like when I hear there's like no better solution than add AI buttons to your website, I'm like, I gotta listen to somebody else. Like, that is not an innovative solution for this issue. That's like a death spiral for our industry. Like encouraging your readers to be using ChatGPT instead of being on your site. Like, I think that's like a crappy direction to steer our businesses into. And so I still listen to those people with an open mind, but I'm like, I'm not doing that. That's lame.
Well, and this is another thing I like about our industry is because like we have had people on that do that and they make solid points about why they believe that's right. And this is why we always say like we're not here to tell you what to do, listeners. We're
no.
like take the ideas that resonate with you and run with those, right? I love Adam that you've brought some new creative things. I hope it inspires some of our listeners to take action on this because I love the direction that you
I will maybe one up you, Corinne, and say I do want to tell people what to do in the sense of if you're not in a wheelchair or have no legs, get those roller skates on this weekend. Go freaking eat some popcorn, put on some headphones, and listen to some boogie ass bass heavy music and rock it out with your roller skates on.
Adam, how did I not know that you are my people? Like popcorn is my favorite food, and roller
It's
skating right now is like my favorite thing to do.
Popcorn is 75% of my food pyramid, Kurt. But
Oh,
I,
so I'm going to
I'm
tell you
about it.
this for both your personal reasons and for business. City Pop, best popcorn, like it is so good. I've talked about them before on the podcast because I do love them so much, but they are super good at marketing. They are really
Hmm.
good at customized marketing. So go to their website. You, Adam, and any listener that wants to do this, but like go sign up for their email list and or their text and watch. Like they have really brilliant marketing. Um,
Yo, and marketing hack for those of you who like want to get into this personalized email stuff. why don't you do this? If you see somebody who's like asking questions that might mean they're segmenting their list, sign up for their list twice with different email addresses or like Christina plus whatever at Christina.com or whatever your
I
email
use
is, right?
Fred. Fred is
Oh,
the
okay.
name I use.
Okay. So sign up two different ways, give them two different answers, and see what kind of emails the two different users get. Like start kind of hacking people's marketing, and you will see some wild stuff potentially if people are doing wild stuff. It's
That
a
is
nice way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I want to piggyback on this because I only recently learned this. So maybe everyone listening knows this already, but if you don't, if you use, like, let's say you've got Corinne at G, that is not my email address, so please don't email her.
It's Corinne
Corinne
at gmail.com,
at
y'all. You guys
gmail.com.
gotta send her
Yeah, I mean,
mad
you can, but it's not
Viagra
coming to me. I'm
emails.
sorry. But if it was Corinne at gmail.com, then if you do Corinne plus like list one and Corinne
Mhm.
plus list two, they count as different emails, but they'll all come to your Corinne at gmail dot or your name at gmail.com. So if you want to have multiple, because I've set this up with some of my VAs when they're testing funnels and things, right? Like, and they don't have more than one email address. Like, I really envy the people that only have a single
Right?
email
I'm like, yeah, I got
address.
like 10.
I have a single email address and I do that. Like
You
when
do
I
that. Yeah.
test my own stuff, I get every day like 10 emails from myself that are like, this is like my test account for somebody who's in my membership to make
Yeah.
sure like I can see what they're seeing. This is my test one for somebody who's not filled out my segmenting questions. This is mine, etc. Like I think it's a great idea if you're doing more complex stuff with your email. Like do set up some test users so you can always see, like
What
that way
they're
if you have a widget that's only shown to one type of segment, maybe like it's missing the actual image or something, and that way you get to see it and fix it. And I think
right.
it's a smart thing to do.
Yeah, and I think if you pair this with Christine, like Christina introduced me, like I'm sure it existed before her, but naming conventions.
Mhm.
So like
Mhm.
now whenever I start something new like this, right, like when I was like, oh, we need a tester email address,
You have
then
gotten
like
much better.
having that naming convention about like, okay, so it's going to be plus the CEO membership, funnel, like so that I know what they each of them are when they start landing. But yeah, that is a brilliant
By
tip.
golly, I wish I knew more about naming conventions when I first started, because now
Very,
it's legit, but I do have some tags in Kit that are like 10 words long or something. Like it's a mess.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, now it's like I have, if they've purchased a class, it's class,
Yep.
whatever the one word is, like, or,
Yeah, I know.
various.
Member and then what membership it is.
Yep.
And yeah.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, we'll have to have a deep dive on naming
Oh,
conventions
let's do
podcast one day.
oh, this makes me so excited. This is like right up there with organizing my spice drawer. Like super
Yeah, good
excited.
times.
it is
Now you know
Christmas.
why my wife thinks I'm the biggest dork in the galaxy, and it's because I am.
Well, we're in the right group
Yeah.
right here.
So
So.
if you hung out with us for this past hour, thank you, first of all. But
And
Adam,
I'm sorry.
no, I mean, there's so much good stuff here, just so much good stuff. But if our listeners want to know more about you, or if they want to stalk and sign up for all your sequences and try to reverse
Yeah,
engineer what you're doing, where can they
yeah.
find you online?
On cinnamonsnail.com. That's my website, and that's where all my stuff lives. And it's a forever changing landscape. Like, I will say that some of the stuff that I've been talking about in today's conversation is stuff that I'm working on. Like that kind of like customized for you page is
Hmm.
something that's like in the process of being built out. And what I will tell you though is within like half a year from now, I have a very radical like change in how content is seen on my website. Not just sales stuff, not just the For You page, but actual blog posts. Very different experience for somebody who I know stuff about versus like the general public randos who come in from Google. And that's something I'm really pumped at. So anyway, That's something we'll be chatting about maybe during the summit.
Yeah.
But for all you schmoes, next year you get on that summit train.
Buy next year's ticket. We'll link to that. Listeners, thank you so much for spending time with us today. Make sure that you check out the show notes because we've got all the links to things that Adam talked about in today's podcast interview. Also, we're using your affiliate links, Adam, for some of the tools that you used. So Right Message, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that there's a discount and then they also get a 3-month trial, which is, I think their normal trial is only 14 days. So if you use specifically Adam's affiliate link, I think there's
you
get a
some
better
special deal.
Yeah.
And
So,
I've also given you guys a link for Brad Hussey, who does this stuff. And like I say, he's so smart and like such an attentive listener. Like he's not building the same stuff for everyone. And I so highly recommend using his services, especially if this stuff feels way too tacky for you. Because he will like build it all out for you. And he's bananas. He's like the smartest dude I've ever met.
Well, we have got him linked also in the show notes. Assuming everything works correctly, it should be there, listeners.
Pray to the podcast gods. Please don't break down.
Listeners, please make sure you leave a rating and review if you learned something new today and enjoyed this conversation as much as we did. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week.
Toodaloo!
If today's episode gave you clarity, direction, or even just one solid aha moment, that's your cue to take action.
Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you found this helpful, please share it with a creator friend who needs to hear it. Smart creators build in communities.
And if you're ready to go deeper, whether that's through our mastermind, live events, or free resources, head to smartinfluencer.com and get on our list.
That's where we share the strategies, tools, and behind-the-scenes insights we don't always talk about on the podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Now go build something smarter.